Alrighty, good morning again, everyone. Oh, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon. I hope you can see me okay, hear me all right. It seems like everything is working fine, so let me know, let me know. Hey Ted, good afternoon. Hope you're well. Now, it's a quiet day in terms of the news with the New Zealand on a bank holiday, the UK with some small news, and the Chinese with some CB leading index to be released later tonight. But a lot has happened over the weekend, which has seen prices gap on the start of the markets today. Right, so we just had, over the weekend, we had the Japanese election, which saw the yen gap to weakness, so the US yen spiking to the upside, and we saw escalation, bad news escalation in the conflict between Iran and Israel. So that also led to a push or a gap to the upside on gold. So it's a move towards reserve. It's a risk on sentiment right now. With all that said, we'll look into what else could happen and some possible trade setups for today. But first, let me get to this. Alrighty, 3, 2, 1, and we are here. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing super on this Monday, the 28th of October. We're towards the tail end of the year. So I hope your trading has been super for the year. I've been here pretty much almost every day helping you look at the markets, guiding you through the analysis. So, put into the chat, let me know. Hope you've been doing well. And if you're on the session, do drop a message and say hi. Let me know that you're on the session. If you're new to the session, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you with us. If you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put into the chat and let me know. And you can help me out massively by remembering to click on that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. A lot of viewers, not a lot of clickers, so get clicking away, guys. And also the link to join is in the description and also on the button there. Join as a YouTube membership on the Elite Navigator, and you get the TSR, MACD, and a whole bunch of other benefits when you join that. Okay, and I'm still waiting. I've just found out about this one thing. I'm still waiting for the first person who's going to send me a super chat or a super sticker. I want to see how that works. Any proceeds from the super chat or the super sticker will go generously to my sake fund to get me drinking on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So get clicking if you want to try that. If you want to be the first one to do that, super sticker or super chat. I want to see how that works, and I would greatly enjoy the sake as well. All right. So let me see. Hang on a second. All right. Yep. All works. Everything's streaming. All good. Awesome. All right. Yeah. Put it into the chat. Let me know if you're on the session. Chat is a little bit quiet, dormant at the moment. So let me know that you're on the session. Hey, Sunil, how you doing? Hey, Diana. Good morning. Hope you're well. Now, as you can see here on the Forex Factory site, not a lot has is planned for today. Firstly, with, like I said, New Zealand on a bank holiday in observance of Labor Day. So that's one. at 7 p.m. So in a couple of hours' time, we have the pound, the UK, with their CBI realized sales. CBI is the Confederation of British Industries, not something I look at. And at 9 p.m. tonight, we have the CB leading index, which is the Conference Board leading index. Again, not something I look out for. So not a lot for in terms of news for today. Through to tomorrow, we have Governor McCallum speaking from the BOC at a fireside chat about the state of the Canadian economy in Toronto. That could bring about some volatility, but I'm not super keen on that. Like I said, late last week, on Friday last week, it's going to be a little bit quiet, for the first day, maybe the first 2 days. We have GLTS late tomorrow, and then all the craziness will start for this week with the CPI numbers to come for the Aussies. On Wednesday, we have the ADP non-farm and GDP number to come for the US. On Wednesday night, following on with that, we have the BOJ with their rates decision on Thursday morning, press conference, and then core PCE price index for the US. And then on Friday, with the euro on a holiday, we have the US non-farm employment change number. And once we hit Friday, that's the 1st of November. Next week, it's going to be massive. I'm really looking forward into next week as much as we're on Monday. Next week is going to be massive because next week on Tuesday, we have the RBA with their rates decision. We have the presidential election for the US. Is it going to be Trump? Is it going to be Harris? Put it into the chat. Let me know, what do you think? Trump or Harris? We ran that poll on our Discord channel. Most, I think it was 10 to 1, thinking that Trump will trump it this time. So let me know, what do you think? And then on the Thursday 7th, on the 7th, we do have the BOE with their rates decision, and we have the FOMC with their rates decision on the 7th/8th of November. So this week is going to be interesting, right? Next week is going to be massive. So as this 2 weeks, I wouldn't say it's going to make or break your trading. It shouldn't. No week or no event should make or break your trading. That's just putting too much pressure on the trading. But these are the kind of situations that we look forward to. Increased volatility, more liquidity. It's going to get interesting. Okay. Now, with all that, just a quick recap of what happened over the weekend. Firstly, like I said at the start, we had that escalation in conflict between Israel and Iran. To be absolutely honest, I've lost track of where unfortunately, but where the missiles are flying. I think it was Iran who hit Israel, then Israel retaliated. If I'm not wrong, I think Iran retaliated to that retaliation as well. In the scheme of things, all I'm noticing, or all I'm paying attention to, is an escalation, right? I'm not going to get drawn into who's right, who's wrong, what should be done. That's beyond the powers of me. But escalation, move towards reserve. We're seeing gold push to the upside. We're seeing a dollar climb, now retracing slightly, but dollar climbed as well. So a move towards reserve firstly, and then also on Sunday, we had the Japanese lower house elections, and that's also where the current party is losing or has lost its majority votes or its majority in the House. So it looks like they're heading into, there you go, Japan stocks face pressure on election blow up to LDP, right? So they're losing their majority. They're getting into a not really hung election. What's it? What's the word called? I forgot the word now. I just had it in my mind just then. Um, I can't remember what's the word. Yeah. Well, so I'm sorry. I'm just trying to think of what's the word, but I just can't figure it. Let me see. Let me see what's the word there. Ruling coalition to lose majority for the first time, heading into a anti-incumbency. That's not it. But that's what's happening mostly. But that's not it. I'm just trying to find that word. Coalition, no. Okay, I can't figure out what the word is right now. But like Sunil says, it is an anti-incumbency kind of sentiment where everyone's looking for a change. All right, whatever they have now, they're looking for a change. That's might be good, might be bad. I think in the terms of Japan, it might be a little bit mooted. But what we're seeing is because of them losing the majority of the house, we're seeing the yen weaken massively as well, right? That's why we saw the dollar yen push right to the upside, gapped up, and then continued up. So that's what happened over the weekend. A bit of a breather for today, but I think it's a continuation. And then we're going to see what happens for the rest of the week. With all that said, good afternoon, Eric. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hey, Angel Case. Good morning. Good morning, Richard. Hey, Magus. Good morning. Diana says Trump. Yeah, we shall see. Okay. Now, with that, then let's look at the charts. Chart. Here we go. Dollar, all right, set there. So we're talking about the dollar first sitting at that point. I thought it was going to retrace slightly down or continue slightly more to the downside towards that 61.8 level before pushing up. It didn't. It sat there. It pushed as low down to 103.95 before pushing right up to that previous high. I'll show you that previous high there at 104.55, testing that trend line that again formed as a bit of a resistance and now pushing back down again. Okay, so what you should notice here at some extent is a bit of a double top happening on the dollar index. Okay, let me just check this trend line. Can I adjust it? Was thinking, oops, no, don't move that. Was thinking that I can do that, but I think I can do without, or I can adjust that. I think that works better. So catching this area here, this point here, and this level here. Okay, so there we have it. Okay, double top, pushing back down. Again, if you look at that, TSR MACD showing that push to the downside. What's the news? No major news. Okay, so that one's done. That one away for now. Diana just said, not a fan of neither Trump nor Harris. I don't know. I feel, I mean, it doesn't really matter so much to me, but I feel like Trump might make it more interesting. All right, so double top here on the dollar index, looking like it might push back down. I feel like it could come back down with no major news today. It might come back down to about this point. But what I'm actually looking for here on the dollar is either for it to come back down to 104.25 or as low as 104.12, 15, around that point before pushing back up again that way. Let's say in that area. All right. So let me see. Okay, today being the 28th of October, we have the dollar index retracing from top of 104.40, 104.55. All right, could trade down to 104.20 before retesting high again. Needs to stay above bullish trend line. There we go. Right, so it's retracing. I think it could come down to this area at 104.20 before pushing back up. Although I see a double top here being formed, I wouldn't think that just because of a double top it's going to come all the way back down. We don't have a lot of news for today to drive that price right down, but maybe later into the week, right? Maybe later into the week. And if you look at the CME Fed Watch tool, we are at a 96.3% chance for a rate cut of 25 basis points, a 0% chance of a 50 basis point rate cut, and a 3.7% chance to keep rates on hold at the current moment, right? So I feel like as much, if that 25 basis point comes around, we're not going to see that big push to the downside. I feel like that's a reasonable move. So that's done. We'll look out for that to happen. Then looking at the Kiwi dollar and the Aussie dollar. So Kiwi, firstly, yes, well, not yesterday, on Friday, we talked about this to break below, to push down. 20 lines, take that one away. So it broke down from, and it took a long time, right? So it didn't do all that only through to Monday. So this shouldn't have been a trade that you'd be looking at, or would have triggered, because late Friday it started pushing down. Only through to this Monday morning did it break that level. So it should have closed or cancelled or not even thought about this trade setup on Monday morning, because we looked at it on Friday. Take that away. Now that it's coming back down, or went down and now coming back up slightly, take that one away, drag this right down. You see this whole move. I'll keep that one there. I'll take this down a bit lower. Take this here. Right. So this is what I'm looking at. Kiwi dollar. We don't need that. Okay, so Kiwi dollar, it was at 5860. It pushed right up. So if I zoom out, you see it came all the way down, tested this support level and pushed right up all the way. test at the top and it's coming back down. Check the H4. Let me just check something. So that's a very crucial level. Okay. So now with that, hey Benjamin, how you doing? Not that late, no worries. Now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about this point here. So what I'm looking for on the Kiwi dollar is for it to test up, test that trend line and push back down again. And if it breaks this point, we could see it trade even lower down. All right. And it kind of fits with what we're expecting here on the dollar for it to weaken and then possibly strengthen back. So look for it to gain against the dollar and then push back down. That case, I'll be looking for a short at 5980. Test and reject 5980, 25 to 65 to the downside. Okay, so 5980, stop loss 25, take profit 65, test and reject trend line. Bearish trend line. There we go. Okay. Then, so that one test, reject, push back down. I'll be happy with that. On to the Aussie. Same thing, right? So it bounced around. I did look for it to test the trend line, which it did Friday night, and then push back down. So this was a thing that you were looking at. As it pushed down, you could have caught a good 30 pip to the downside. And then as it came down, tested, it's bouncing back up right now. So drag that down. Don't need that for now. I'll put that there. That makes sense. I'll keep that one there. Keep that there. So again, similar to, you can see it tested at 61.8, pushed up 61.8 right now. So it's come down to close to that 61.8 level and it's bouncing back up again. This time, trend line, a big push down. In fact, I don't need that. I want to check, just check these points here, like that. You want, okay, let's take that one away or shorten it. Okay. So what I'm looking at here, very similar to the Kiwi. In fact, let me see. I don't think it's worth doing that. Okay. Remember now that 61.8 is here, right? And we're seeing a good, relatively good, strong reaction at this point here. Going to be a little bit different compared to the Kiwi, because if I look for it to test and reject back down, then what I'll be looking for would be, a stop loss of 20, a take profit of 40 to the downside. Yes, you could do that trade down. I think that if that happens, I would prefer the Kiwi, right? I would prefer to trade the Kiwi. I would rather do the Kiwi first, let it push down. Then the next move I'll rather look at is if the Aussie does break below that 61.8 level and break below this 6580 level, 6565 20 to I don't think we're going to see 100 and something move. 20 to that point. There we go. Okay. So test reject push down 20 to 80 to the downside there on the Aussie dollar. A lot more to wait out for. I would say that Aussie, we're looking to sell at 6565 20 to 80. 20 to take profit, 80 to the downside. All right. All good, all good. Put it into the chat and let me know. Then with that, we look into the pound dollar. I was going to say Aussie dollar. Pound dollar. Now, pound dollar, again, it came down. We were talking about this, right? Where it came down, and then we're thinking that this was where we were at that point. So we had that trend line, and then we thought, okay, it's going to come up, test that resistance, and turn down. It came slightly and then pushed back down. So didn't manage to catch this move to the downside. But what I'm seeing now is going to be a nice setup, or could be a nice setup, because what I'm seeing here is a test, and then maybe a test, and then a break to the downside with a bit of a neckline there, a head and shoulder there, or triple top to push back down. Okay. So don't do anything yet here on the pound dollar to the upside. I think it's going to go up. It's going to let it push to the upside. In fact, I think that it would be quite similar to what we were talking about on Friday. Okay, so what I mean by that is you have a bit of that neckline there. Dollar pushing right down, dollar pushing right down. That's going to push up. As that pushes up, I might want to see that test and reject. Same like what we did. Same. Okay, so this was where we were, on Friday, right at this level, and it's pretty much the same level. So we should be looking for the same thing. Test and reject of 1.30. All right, so 1.30. Sorry about that. 1.30, stop loss 20, take profit 85, 90 to the downside. 1.30, 25 to 90. I think we can keep that. It's 25 to 90 to the downside. So let it test, let it reject the resistance and turn down from 1.30, sell down. Okay, we'll keep that one. And then on to the euro dollar. Euro dollar worked perfectly. Right, we talked about it reacting to this resistance. We were right here. They came up, tested their resistance, and pushed right down. So we talked about this, looking for reaction at 1.0840. Let me know if you got into this. As you rejected 1.0840, turned down to the support level at 1.0780. Now that it's found this level, the support, You can see TSRI pushing to the upside. I think that the euro could sit in this range for a little bit, bouncing in this range. So what I would be looking for here, hang on, let me just check this. All right, so, man, what's happening? Okay, 1.08. So break above is almost there. It's not going to work very well for in terms of the support, in terms of the stop loss and take profit. It's not great. I wouldn't do that. Okay, I wouldn't do it on an H1 time frame. I think that there are smaller term time frame opportunities to trade it to the upside, to trade it back up. So I would say that euro dollar has upside potential, but maybe not so much on the H1 time frame, maybe on a smaller time frame. Okay, so euro dollar range between 1.0780 and 1.0840. 1.0780 and 1.0840 could trade up for in smaller time frame. Diana says, I think pound might reject from 1.2340 and then retrace back and go lower. Okay, let's have a look at that. Pound dollar. One point two three, pound dollar, 1.23, no, 1.33. Okay, I know there's a typo there. I'm just trying to figure out what's the numbers supposed to be. 1.234, 1.3040. Then retrace back from and go lower. Okay, so I think what you're saying is 1.3040. 3040 is here. Yep. I think that whatever it does, if it pushes up, right? Once it pushes up to this area, I'm going to sit out and wait. You can do that. Only when it comes back down, then I'll look to sell it back down. Retrace back and go lower. Generally, the main thing I'm focused on is that it goes up, does whatever it does, retrace and go lower. I want to see that move lower. Okay, so I kind of agree with you there. Kind of agree with you there. Okay, then with that, we look at the yen. And this is where I got super fortunate. All right, I got super fortunate on this. Okay, wait, we get back to that. 1.2940, 1.29. You take liquidity for 1. Oh, so so I think what you're saying is that it will sit there, take 1.2940, go back up, and then turn back down, something like that. No, I don't think that that's the case. I think that in the best case, so-called best case scenario, this would be the best case. It will be that, 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 like that. But I want to see, in general, I'm looking for that move. From there, reject to go up and go low. Yeah, I think that's what you meant. Maybe a little bit that way. Entry to that. Price from your entry level. Okay, okay. Yeah, so it's going to push up, test that area, and we have the entry there. Get down to 1.2940 because of that gap here, and then retrace back up to about that 50% level, and then after that push back down again. I think that's what we're talking about. Exactly, fantastic. See, I do know the SMC gaps and I forgot the terms, but that concept. Um, just that I don't look for those. I just have that big overall move. We're on the right track. Fantastic. US yen. Super fortunate on that one. So I was sharing on Discord. I got in at 152. Right. So on Friday after our session, I think right after our session, about there, I was heading out for dinner. I didn't do any trades. I got in at 152. I had my stop loss below. I didn't have a take profit. I just left it to run. I want to see how much it can go up by. And then very surprised with this morning's move with the election. I just want to see what's the chance. Right there. Yeah, 152. And then it sat there, sat there, sat there. News came out, poof, right up. I closed at 150 pips to the upside. I didn't take the whole thing. 150 to the upside, closed out. Now pushing back down again. So very fortunate there on the yen. Again, we talked about this. We did talk about this on Friday. We're talking about 152.20, 100 pips to the upside. So if you got onto that, should have been an easy 100 pips for you. Let me know if you caught that move as well. If not, now. If you didn't, now. We look at this point where we have this level down here. We have this level down here. Like that, okay? 61.8 is right there. I note that 61.8, but I will be looking at this first. Okay, so I'm looking at this whole area as a bit of a resistance. All right, if you look, zoom right out, you got that whole resistance at 150. That's a bit too high. Let me see. That's a little bit too high. I know I deleted that. Let me put it back in again. 1. What if I had that there? No, I wouldn't want that there. Yes, US yen did gap up. Push back down. Okay, so I'm not too worried about that whole thing yet. What I'm seeing here on the US yen is that it is retracing, right? I know that there is going to be a lot of expectations that it's going to come back in and close out this gap, right? It's going to come back and close out this gap, which could be fair, could happen as well. So what we're looking for is the yen to push down for the short term, close the gap, and push back up, right? Again, dollar weakness is going to drag this down, bounce back up. Yeah, Okay, so the yen main thing is that it needs to stay above 150, 150. That's the first thing I want to point out. Gonna retrace, so it's retracing, bounce off. Put that in. Let me put that in. US yen, right? Firstly, it's retracing. Could test 150 250, 150 250. Look for rejection, and then we'll buy at we'll buy at 153.10. Stop loss 50. Take profit 200. 153.10, 50 to 200. Buy at 153.10. Stop loss 50. Take profit 200. There we go. Hey Jamil, how are you doing? So many gaps done for the day. Hey, if you caught the right gaps, it could be done for the week and the month as well. Okay, Diana, yes, I can do pound and euro kiwi. Okay, so that's what I'm looking out for on the US yen. Then onto the euro yen, same thing. We had a gap as it pushed up, but we were looking at it at that point. You wouldn't have caught that move, unlikely, right? As it pushed up, now that it's pushed up, broke above that 50 level. Take that away. Zoom right in again. Catch that point there. Okay, so at this point here, same thing is that I see it pushing up, I see it retracing, might close that gap. I would like to see this come back down a little bit more before pushing back up again, almost testing that support. But remembering that the euro has that upside potential, that could face a little bit of a difficulty here. So I think that we might just be looking at 164.70, 164.60, test and bounce. All right, but I wouldn't be super keen on this. I think you look at the US yen first. Then for this, you'll be looking at 166.20. Stop loss tight at 30 pips. Take profit 140 to the upside. Okay, that's what I would look out for. And then onto the pound yen, same thing that pushed up, but you wouldn't have caught. Right, this would have looked nice on a theoretical back test, but you wouldn't have caught this move because of that gap. So we take that, tested resistance, pushing back down. For sure, not looking to sell it down at this point. Right, not looking to sell it down at this point. Those levels match up. So what you would be looking for here, 61. 61 is done. Take that away, take that away. Right, so what you should be watching out for here would be that. So either it's going to come back down, close this gap, or bounce off this trend line before pushing back up. I think that that gap has a bit of an interim level there. So yes, it could come back down, test and bounce back up to that resistance. You'll be looking to buy 198. Stop loss tight at 40, take profit 112 to the upside, 113, 115 to the upside. There you go, 120 on the pound yen. Right, so relatively straightforward so far. Any questions, put into chat, let me know. What do you think? Remember to help me click that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, super, Jamil, super. Now we look at the US Swiss franc. We talked about this to do nothing because it was just bouncing right about. It tested that high and it's pushed back down. Now, as it pushes down, I think that we're gonna see this right across. We're gonna see this right across. That all makes sense. Horizontal value there. Okay, there we go. US Swiss franc. High, that's the high point. That's the mid level of the high point there. Definitely looking at a, and you all know, I mean, I say it is quite a regular intervals, is that I hate, absolutely hate trying to figure out how much it's going to retrace by before it bounces back again. This looks like it's closing up the gap. But if the dollar does continue to push down, we could see this come back down to this level here. So it looks like it could do that, right? On the US Swiss franc. Jamil is saying it's a very good buy trade. I'm agreeing, but I'm looking at where to get into, right? Whether it's at that gap or this area here. You'll be looking at 8660. Stop loss will be about 20 pips. Take profit will be about 40 pips. And then if it breaks that high, you get the next move to the resistance level. Okay, you can be looking even at that. 90. Thanks, Jamil. I think that's possible, but it's just trying to guess that. Alternatively, is that you could sit it out and wait whether it breaks above 0.87, then you go a very tight stop, 10 15 pips at the most. Take profit will be that 45 to the upside. Okay, so you can do that down and buy it up, or let it push back up and then you look for that move there. I'll highlight this one because we can see that bounce back up. So 0.8705, 15 to 45. Buy 0.87, stop loss 15, take profit 45. There we go, there we go. Then we had the CAD with their retail sales number. Let me show you that as well. Canadian retail sales number on Friday was a little bit lower than expected. Was 0.5, came out at 0.4, while core retail sales came out at a minus 0.7%. And what we saw on the CAD, as we had kind of expected, was that weakness to the upside. Right? It didn't drop enough, but it did have that push to the upside on the US CAD. So now take all that away. Again, it is in that area. So now you got that whole move up. Take that one away. It is pushing down. I would say that I would like to see it break out from this point before I would think of selling it down. So nothing now, but we want to see it break down, then possibly look to sell it down. Jamil says CAD more going to buy. US CAD looks more bullish from Dyna as well. I think that with, again, I'm kind of fixated on how these had moved before. So I'm still kind of thinking that it might push down, right? I'm looking at those levels there. I'm looking at those. I'm looking to sell. We're all looking to sell. Um, that level there as well. Right, so there is a couple of levels here that needs to break. The big thing here is to watch what happens at 1.3850. On in terms of more upside, hang on. In terms of more upside, I feel like if it does break above that point, yes, there is further upside. It's happened once and twice, but it's quick and sharp. So you just want to be careful. I would say that possibly look for it to come down towards 1.3850 and look for a reaction there. We'll put that one because nothing for now on the US CAD. Oops. Look for possible. We're earning so much today. What's happening? Look for possible retrace down to and reaction at 1.3850. 3850. Diana is saying 1.3815 is that level considered as a change to the trend. Do that one first. Okay. 1.38515. It's about there. I see why you would say that point. I would think so. For sure. This is like you say like, yeah, of course we know that. But for sure, I would say 1.3750. We want to see that break. But so what I would do if I were you, if I looking at this, I would say that okay, once it breaks if it breaks 1.3850 in this area, I'll be like thinking, okay, I want to sell. All right, I'm thinking. Then once it breaks this point, I might be looking at a small sell. Then if it breaks that level, then I'll be looking at a big sell. All right, and I might just go think about it, enter a sell. So I'll do like a trade like, actually I've just done this instead of drawing, scribbling away. Oops, like that, tight and that. Then after that, if it breaks that level, then I'll be like that. and then all the way back down. Then at least that way, you would have made a 50, about 50, 40 pip. That would be a break. That would be a risk-free trade for a big move to the downside. Yeah. Price moved up. Yeah. So it's that level there. I know. So if it breaks that level, then we're going to have a small trade down, and then if it breaks that previous, that 1.3750 again, then we have the big move down again. Okay. So that's kind of the medium plan for the US CAD. Then on to gold. Okay, what's happening on gold? All right, so we talked about this, so and that one. Gold fluctuated between 2700 to 2740. It did that, so it bounced around. It found 2720, pushed back up, still within that range. A bit too many things happening here. Let's clear that out. Now let's keep 61. Take that point there. And in fact, I don't even need that. Okay, let's keep that point there. That's going up. That all makes sense. That's all good. Gold sitting at this point, I think it's gonna stay still within this range. I would absolutely love to see it form a new high, break an all-time high again. We haven't said all-time high yet, but I would like to see it break and form a new all-time high, but it looks like it's going to sit within this range. We don't need that one. Right, so it looks like it's going to sit within this range for now. So 2720, 274, 2770, 27450. No, 2747. Okay, gold can go up to 2764 without a doubt, but I think that for today, probably gonna stay within this range. I would love to see it. I would love to see it do that, and then that push up. But I think that it's gonna stay within this range for today. Right? So 2720 and 2747. There we go. Okay. Then on to said Euro Kiwi, probably worth checking that. Okay, we'll check that. I need to send me a message on Discord as well. Pound Kiwi and Euro Kiwi. Okay, Pound Kiwi. There we go. Okay. Pound Kiwi, up, 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 and away. Up, 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 and away. Clear all that out. I just want a bit easier just to draw that line there. Take care, Jamil. Break that, push up. I think that's straightforward. Kiwi pushing down. That's why we're seeing the pound Kiwi push up. Pound dollar sitting right across, pushing up a bit. Might be a little bit struggling and trying to push up. So pound Kiwi, I think that there's more upside. Does need to break above 2.1750 for that next move. I think relatively simply and relatively straightforwardly is 1.17 0.70. Stop loss would be about 40. Take profit would be about 110, 120 to the upside. But I think that it might bounce around. So it might do something like that. Right? So it might just do something like that first. Oops. It might just do that. Then after that, continue higher. So if you stretch it right across again, I think that it will possibly bounce around this area before pushing up again. Okay, then on to the Euro Kiwi, right? That didn't have that big zigzaggy thing there, but it did push right up to the resistance. High, break, 61 there. Nope, before that, catch that level and that point first. Now at this level, I feel like it's going to retrace slightly. I mean, it's a bit odd to think that I'm thinking that the Euro Kiwi could retrace, but the Pound Kiwi could have that big upside. But I'm just thinking of the Euro dollar. No, Euro dollar is looking like a good push up. Kiwi looking like it's going to continue lower. So Euro Kiwi should continue pushing higher. You'll be looking at it 1.81. I would say that if you can break above this 1.81, you're going to see further upside. So 1.8110 could even be a now kind of trade. 50 to a 100 to the upside there on the Euro Kiwi. All right. Any further questions, put into the chat and let me know. Now, if you haven't already, it's a great time to click that like and subscribe button. If not, I'll see you all on Discord. Keep your questions coming. Please trade well, trade safe, and if all else fails, I'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Take care now. Bye-bye.